What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Farron, and my question is, what is the difference between, or being perceived, I say, as between being a helpmate and nagging?
A helpmate and nagging.
A helpmate.
Yeah, and nagging.
Okay.
Or a nagger.
Okay, so let me.
Wait for her.
Trill.
I think only one of those is beneficial to me, for one. And I think nagging, oh man, that's such a gray area because in some instances, we jump to the conclusion and consider some shit nagging that's really helping us out and that's really should be pushing us along sometimes. But on the other end,
Yes.
you got some women who simply complain because the sky is blue.
Yes.
Right? And as a man, we feel like everything that we doing, we pouring into this relationship, setting the standard, creating infrastructure, all of these things, it's like, us a break sometimes. Like, we're not opposed to getting counsel. That's why you're there. We trust it, right? But a lot of women be sitting in that passenger seat while we driving and constantly reaching for the steering wheel, trying to guide it. It's like, no, baby, kick your feet up. I got it, right? And if you don't trust me to get it, what am I doing in this driver's seat to begin with? So I think the difference between being a helpmeet and nagging is a helpmeet is actually providing counsel, because women have a different perspective than we have as well. Men, we more tunnel vision, long-term thinkers. Women are hypersensitive to the right now and what's in the immediate surroundings. So that's definitely beneficial. But complaining just to complain, sometimes just be quiet, man.
I'm gonna take a different approach. That was hot. Me personally, I honestly believe you'll never be a nag to a man who actually cares. I honestly believe that. Hold on now, Trill. Hold on now. I don't want to scrap. In all actuality, men want to feel needed. So your presence and needing something from that man gives him power, gives him confidence. It fights his ego. He could be the smallest thing. You can reach that shelf when that ain't at home. But the moment he get home, you like, babe, could you help me? It's that thing that fuels a man. And that identity of being called a nag is only from a man who sees you as such. And the right man won't see you as such.
No, some women be nagging.
Yeah, nagging, yeah.
Yeah, some women be nagging. I mean, when you're a helpmate and you are, let me spin this a little bit. You're building when you're doing that. You're building. It's not coming from strife. It's coming from me trying to build a partnership, companionship, being supportive and things like that. But people who nag are simply coming from a place of strife, just being quarrelsome, just because things are not going their way. They're more impulsive, more irrational, and it's more emotional than anything. So I couldn't give you a definite definition to either one of them, not off the top of my head, but I think that's more so from my angle, that's what I would look at. Someone who nags is like people who have pet peeves and they don't like certain things just because they don't like it. It's not really there to build somebody up. It's more so there to tear somebody down or to get them to comply with you, which a helpmate doesn't have to use certain tactics to get someone to comply because they see themselves as a partner. So that's my take.
So let me throw this up.
Stefan.
Go ahead.
So a helpmate is a woman who says, baby, what do you need? A helpmate is a woman who looks at the table and realizes what is missing, not just doesn't give what she wants to give. A helpmate is a service position, just like marriage is a service position. A helpmate says, how can I serve, even if I don't understand? It says, I will lean not unto my own understanding, and I'll just trust you because I choose you. And it comes from a place of service. Nagging comes from the place of ego. It says, I have something to say and you gonna hear me. It says, I have an issue with something, I need you to feel me. It says, like Kitty said, I need you to feel my thrive. I need you to feel where I'm coming from. So there's nothing healthy or helping in that. It creates division because now I'm nagging and I'm antagonizing you and now you become an opponent. A helpmate says we're on the same team. So I'm not trying to emasculate you. I'm trying to build you by being of service to you. That is the difference. Now, when a man calibrates or allows a woman to nag, it's because there's dysfunction in him that needs to be fed. Because a man who is looking for a helpmate, who is a man who is a provider and a husband, a family man, he won't calibrate, he will repel that, and he won't tolerate a woman who is nagging, because a grown-ass man don't need to be nagged. He needs to be partnered with, he needs to be served, and he needs to have a helpmate. That's how you tell the difference between the two.
Stefan, did you have something?
I mean, she kind of nailed it right there. Dr. Brian said pretty much what I was going to say. I was just going to sum it up as nagging or helpmate can follow the man's lead. Nagging is someone who's trying to force her lead onto the man. And if a woman says to me, well, how can I trust him to lead me, right? Well, then why are you with that man? You have to start with, for those who are believers, you got to start with asking God, is this the man you're supposed to even be with? Are you aligned with this person? And if you are, and God says, yes, this is the right man for you, then trust him. And also, I think every woman needs to understand, if you desire an established man who has his stuff together, that man has already learned how to lead himself in life. And if he's a godly man, with God on his side or leading him. So now for you to come in, and I have a lot of situations where, let's say the wife says, well, I give him my opinion, but he doesn't do what he doesn't take it. And it's like, okay, the only thing I'm gonna encourage a man to do is to listen to his woman, talk to her, hear her side, but he's not gonna always take what you say. And you can't take it as a personal shot at you, like it devalues you or devalues your intelligence about a certain thing. It's just that he understands what he needs to do to get the job done. And if he has been good at it, then give him that respect.
Yeah.
I want to add, thank you so much. I want to add this other part. This is outside of relationships, just people to people. Sometimes we don't ask if someone wants our help in that department. And so we don't have their consent for that help in that department. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean that you can't come and see a place where something is missing and then go to that person, hey, I'm noticing something is missing. Would you like me to assist there? Oftentimes, that's not when men are talking about when they feel nagged. Oftentimes, is what we're discussing. It's an intrusion. It is an air of superiority that's coming with it, right? It's a you need to be doing this, you doing this, doing that. And it becomes a part where when you're talking about a helpmate, I think it's finding where that man desires help, needs help, identifies it, and then asks, and hopefully you pick a man that seeks that help. And then that way you can find that pairing. But anytime two people are not in alignment, it goes back to the first part. If y'all not in alignment, even if you have the best intentions, it's gonna seem like nagging to that man because he don't really want your help. So find a man that's open to a partner, not just a subordinate.
I think that's the reason why I struggle with that, because one is a position and the other is a behavior. So trying to compare those two was a little complicated.
Right.
Because you can be a helpmate and still nag at times because you have not learned how to wait, because you have not learned how to come away from your foolish ways, because you have not learned how to get that pride under control. So I think that's the reason why it was hard for me to answer that, because we're talking about a position and a behavior, and even somebody who's a helpmate may sometimes fall into their own ways and their prideful ways and still nag. They just have to be willing not to allow yourself to join every argument or every problem just because you want to.
I think being a I think being a helpmate requires skill, though.
Yeah, and it also requires you to crucify your ego, because if we're married, Ace, we don't want that, hypothetically speaking. You know what I'm saying? But if we was married, yeah, well, if we was married, Ace, but I'm saying, and I said, hey, baby, I noticed that there's X, Y, and Z going on with you. Can I serve you? Can I be of service? How do you know my help? And you said, baby, you know what? Not right now. That triggers a lot of women.
Yep.
And it inflates their ego. And then they go into, okay, so you don't need me. It makes them feel disconnected to you. So when a person is truly wanting to help you from a service position, ego's not involved. They can take the yes and the no equally. And they know how to say, okay, maybe he doesn't. Okay, rewind. They can take the yes and the no equally. Okay? And so what I want to offer to the ladies is that sometimes men don't need your help. Because like Stefan said, they already understand their leadership and have the resolve. They're just in the process space. And it is our job to allow our men to process before they produce things in our relationships so those productions can be fruitful. So our relationships don't end up like the fig tree. The fig tree was unfruitful and God cursed it. And so if we allow a man that space and don't allow our ego to project onto him and add salt to the wound or add more problems to the problem he already has, I think that we will become equally yoked, because if I understand you don't need my help doesn't mean you don't need me. You not needing my help doesn't mean you don't love me or you're unplugged from me. It may mean you need your space to do what a man does that I don't understand as a woman because I'm not biologically wired like you. And a lot of times we add issues to that by not knowing how to just fall back.
When I interpreted this question, can we also speak on the idea that most men can't tell the difference? Right? A man will have a good woman in his face who is a solid helpmate, but everything that comes out of her mouth, he interprets as nagging.
Yes.
She might be trying to help you get your.
So can we go? I just want to make sure I interject this because this is probably going to lead to a different vein in this conversation. What I'm saying is the skill set to be a helper or a teacher or a guider. If you don't have being a teacher is difficult, and it takes training to be able to teach students. You have to have a adequate understanding of capabilities and how long behaviors take to change and how long you should give grace for something to be fixed. When you get into the nagging mode is, I identified a problem, but because I'm not skillful at being a teacher and I don't know how long it should take for someone to get the hang of it, every day, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, and you're doing more harm than good. That's why I said sometimes we need to be able to have some type of humility and say, I'm probably not the best person right now to assist this person. But what I can do is get you to the right person that you can get that help. And that can be a spiritual advisor, a counselor, or a therapist.
But I think also a lot of times when a woman is nagging a man is because she's trying to get him to be the potential she sees in him, right? Woo! But sometimes potential is a figment of your imagination. And
sometimes
he does not have in him what you think he can become. Or he may be happy at the level that he is at. A woman can meet a guy, let's say he's an electrician or a plumber, right? In her head, it's he could own the plumbing company. But to him, I'm happy being a plumber. I'm good here. And so now it becomes this tug of war because you're trying to drag him to this next level that he never signed up for. So you have to recognize, am I dating his reality or his potential? If you have to keep nagging, then maybe you're just with the wrong guy.
Appreciate your question. Thank you so much. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Woo-wee. So what you got to say? She asked the question, what's the difference between, being a helpmate or being a nagger? What you got to say?
Well, I would say, I think Kitty had it pretty good, but I would say that being a nagger, I feel like that's like an antagonizing spirit. Usually people who nag, they don't just nag their husbands, they nag everybody outside, people at their work. They usually like complaining a lot, a complaining spirit. Mm-hmm. You ever been with somebody at the restaurant and they complain about everything? Nothing is right, nothing is good. They just complain and nag. Oh, it's terrible. It's very embarrassing too, and you feel like you almost have to, cover the situation that they are building. Anyways, but yeah, I think that nagging, that's like, it's like a spirit. You gotta like look at yourself and be like, hey, the things that I'm saying, my attitude towards things, the way that I'm behaving, it's not of the Lord. And I need some help with that. And how you help yourself is you fast and you pray, okay? And ask the Lord to help you. And dig inside, and when you in your prayer time, dig inside some of the past things, that could be causing you to be a nagger, Maybe your parents nagged you and now you carrying on the generational curse. Maybe a teacher nagged you, and maybe now you are holding the same way of mind, go deep inside in your prayers and ask the Lord to reveal things to you and ask him to heal you from your past wounds and ask him to help you to be more like him. You feel me? A helpmate. I think a helpmate, I think that's something that the Lord will prepare you for, you know? Like when you had your alone time with the Lord before he bring you you to your husband and you to find your wife, he going to be helping you to be prepared to be a helpmate, you know, to meet in the middle with your husband, you know, be able to assist him in your household as a whole, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that nagging is a spirit and it's a behavior, and you have to look at it for what it is and say, hey, I don't no longer want to align with this. I want to be like the Lord. I want to be satisfactory in the eyes of the Lord. I don't want to be a nagger. I don't want to be causing commotion everywhere I go. And I think being a helpmate, that is something that the Lord will prepare you with before you even get married. So when you do get married, you'll be able to be a good helper. What you thinking?
I agree. Do you think though, because I agree with what you said, do you think a helpmate can also have the spirit of complaining, nagger within them as well? What you think?
Well, human beings can be demonized, you know, which means that you just aren't following the Lord wholeheartedly in certain areas in your life. So it's very. I think a person who is a helpmate can deal with being a nagger and have that spirit and need deliverance from that. You know, they're a human being. You know, and the Lord, He's a deliverer. You know, so yeah, I believe so. What you think?
I agree too. I agree with what Kitty was saying. I feel like we're comparing kind of two different types of things. Even you were kind of saying it too. One is like the helpmate is what the Lord prepares you for like marriage and things. Within a nagger is more or less a spirit of some sort that's can operate still within the same thing, but also can be separate. I don't think that they're two separate types of. I mean, they're separate, but they're two different types of things that we talk about at the end of the day. So I agree completely. Yeah, no man want to deal with no nagging and complaining spirit. I don't want to be friends with no nagging complaining spirit. I don't want to watch nobody on TV who be nagging and complaining. That's irritating. Don't nobody want to deal with that. Like Joel said, get that deliverance from the Lord and keep it moving, because you don't want to be dealing with that, because people ain't going to want to be around you then. Your spouse, your boyfriend, you ain't going to be able to keep nobody because they're going to say you complain too much and all the time. So, yeah, I agree. Let that be. And then the helpmate, yeah, you know, the Lord prepares you for that, for marriage. Don't be helpmating your boyfriends and girlfriends and anything else. That's not what that's for. So, yeah, I definitely believe that the Lord will prepare you, men and women, you know, for your relationship and everything like that. But that's just what I think. I agree. Get the deliverance, seek the Lord, and let that stuff be and let that stuff go. Watch what you're watching and all that other stuff. If you watching stuff on TV and they be complaining and yapping, now you complaining and yapping and stuff too. So be careful about what you looking at, because that stuff can transfer on to you, and now you wondering why you acting all funny and stuff like that. So yeah, just leave it be.
For sure, for sure. And nagging is embarrassing. You ever, like I said, you ever been out with somebody in a restaurant and they just nag the waitresses and the staff, and they're just unhappy, and they just it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. Just look, on the outside looking in at the other person, it's embarrassing. Woo-wee.
It's true. It is true.
Well, that's it, y'all. That's the show. Go ahead and check out stamps-tv.com. So much content on there. Go ahead and check it out right now.
Yep, and while you're on there, go ahead and visit that shop, Stamps Apparel tab. We got dope t-shirts just like these. We got hoodies, joggers, crew necks, all different types of stuff on there. So go ahead and get you some.
And go check out Stamps Essentials on the website. Click that tab on the website. We got everything on there, from shampoos, protein treatments, deep conditioners, leave-in conditioners, hair growth oil, hair grease, whipped shea butter for your skin, lip liners, and our signature product, Stay Moist Coil's hair system. It's a hair system that's for wash and goes, but you can also use it for your single twist and single braids and your perm rod sets. And yes, this is all my hair. No wig, no extensions, none of that. This is natural. And I use Stamps Essentials to care for my tresses. You can grow hair too, honey. Click that link on the website. We out.
See y'all.